Give ear, O my people,
Give ear, O my people,
to my law.
to my law.
Incline your ears
Incline your ears
to the words of my mouth.
to the words of my mouth.
I will open my mouth
I will open my mouth
in a parable.
in a parable.
I will utter dark sayings of old,
I will utter dark sayings of old,
which we have heard
which we have heard
and known,
and known,
and our fathers have told us.
and our fathers have told us.
For he established a testimony in Jacob,
When he established a testimony in Jacob,
and appointed a law in Israel,
and appointed a law in Israel,
which he commanded our fathers,
which he commanded our fathers,
that they should make known
that they should make known
to their children,
to their children,
that the generation to come
that the generations to come
might know them,
might know them,
even the children
even the children
which should be born,
which should be born,
who should arise
who should arise
and declare
and declare
them to their children,
them to their children,
that they might set their hope
that they might set their hope
in God,
in God,
and not forget
and not forget
the works of God,
the works of God,
but keep his commandments.
but keep his commandments.
My psalms are taken from chapter 78. May the Lord add a blessing of the reading, hearing, as well as doing of his holy mighty word. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Israel's Church of Living God. And Brother Rodney and Brother Caleb will be reading today. We are dealing with a lesson today, a brief history of the Israelites. A brief history of the Israelites. Sister Audrey, could you give Brother Al to come in for a minute? A brief history of the Israelites. Before we get started, we are going to call the people from out of town. Sister Jenny Cruz, are you with us today?
Testing, 1, 2.
Sister Jenny Cruz, are you with us today? All right, happy Sabbath, sister. All right, Brother Rodrigo, are you with us today? There must be a delay. Again. All right, Brother Rodrigo, are you with us? Yeah, we must have a delay today again. Well, for all those, anybody else is joining us, we'd like to say happy Sabbath to you all, and I hope you enjoy the lesson. Today's title again is A Brief History of the Israelites. A Brief History of the Israelites. Brother Al, is Brother Al here today?
Yes, he's here.
A Brief History of the Israelites. And so, we have a event coming up. By the way, it's going to be a Black History event, June the 28th. June the 28th. And so we're not going to be doing 4 parts this year for Black History, just 2, because we can't give everything away during the month of February. So we will be having a Black History event this year, and it will be June the 28th. That's on a Sunday, and we will be telling you more about that a little later. So we're just going to be doing 2 parts as it pertains to Black History for February, right? And so today we're just going to give you a brief history of the Israelites. Audrey, did you tell Al to come in? Okay, so we're going to pick it up at Romans, the 9th chapter, Romans 9. Romans 9, and we're going to pick up at verse 3. Romans 9 and 3. Okay. Yeah. Romans 9 and 3. Glad to see everybody come out today. Romans 9 and 3. Go ahead and read it.
Romans chapter 9, verse 3.
Uh-huh.
For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh.
Uh-huh. Now see, Paul, you see what Paul just said right here? My kinsmen according to the flesh. And so this is who we're dealing with. We're dealing with Israelites. Go ahead and read.
Who are Israelites?
Who are Israelites? Uh-huh.
To whom pertaineth the adoption,
Uh-huh.
and the glory, and the covenants, and the giving of the law,
Uh-huh.
and the service of God, and the promises.
See, God gave the children of Israel everything. Everything. So these are your leaders as it pertains to the word of God. It is the Israelites. So he said, who are Israelites to whom pertaineth the adoption? Because the Lord did adopt the children of Israel. They were called Jacobites, or the sons of Jacob at first. Then, once the Lord adopted had that angel to come to Jacob, and he asked Jacob, he said, what is your name? He said, my name is Jacob. He said, okay, now your name is going to be Israel. And we're going to read that today. So he changed Jacob's name from Jacob to Israel. Who are Israelites who pertain to the adoption, the glory, the covenants, the giving of the law, and the service of God, and the promises. Because the children of Israel were supposed to teach all other nations. This was their job, to teach all other nations, but they blew that. Verse 5, go ahead and read.
5.
Uh-huh.
Whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Christ came.
See, Christ came through Israel. He came through the children of Israel. Go ahead and read.
Who is over all. God bless forever. Amen.
Now, let's go now, because we're going to go back and we're going to, look at our family tree today. That's basically what we're going to do. We're going to look at our family tree today, and we're going to clear some things up. So let's go back now. Let's go to 1 Chronicles, first chapter. We're going to pick it up at verse 4. 1 Chronicles 1 and 4. Now, I know many of you all know these things already, but this is for the ones who don't know. Okay, for newcomers. 1 Chronicles 1 and 4. 1 Chronicles 1 and 4. Everybody got it?
Amen.
Go ahead and read.
1 Chronicles chapter 1, verse 4. Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Now, so he said Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. These are the ones who populated the earth on this side of the flood. Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So we're going to get straight to the children of Israel's heritage. So let's go skip down to verse 24. Skip to verse 24. Go ahead.
24. Shem, Arphaxad, Shelah, Eber, Peleg, Ruah, Serug, Nahor, Terah, Abram, the same as Abraham.
The same as Abraham. Turn his mic down a little bit, Al.
Not too much though, bro. I like it loud. Strain my voice. I'm serious.
Read verse 27. Go ahead, brother.
27. Abram, the same as Abraham.
Okay, keep reading.
The sons of Abraham, Isaac, and Ishmael.
The sons of Abraham, Isaac, and Ishmael. Now you notice something. They got Isaac first. Isaac was named first, although Ishmael is older than Isaac. So now he named Isaac first because Isaac is the son of his wife. That's why the book named, and not only that, Isaac is the son of the promise.
Right.
Skip to verse 34. Skip to verse 34. Go ahead and read.
34. In Abraham, you got Isaac. The sons of Isaac, Esau, and Israel.
Now, so Abraham begat Isaac, the sons of Isaac, Esau, and Israel. Now, who is this Israel? Because we're not going to deal so much with Esau. We're going to deal with him later. So who is this Israel? Before we go there, let's go to Genesis, the 14th chapter. I'm sorry. Before we go there, let's go to, we're going to look up the word Shem first. Let's look up the word Shem. So for this, we're going to Zondervan's Bible Dictionary, and we're going to look up Shem.
This is Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary, page 544, excuse me. Shem says, fame, second son of Noah, and the progenitor of the Semitic race.
Oh, he is the progenitor of the Semitic race. Because, you know, sometimes you hear those people that call themselves Jews, they say that, you know, if you are coming out against them, then you're anti-Semitic. But Ishmael is Semitic as well. And so are the Israelites. They are also Semitic. Esau, which is the one who's saying that people are anti-Semitic, which we'll deal with later. But Ishmael is Semitic, which are the Arabs. So if Ishmael is saying things about Esau or the Edomite Jews, and the Edomite Jews call them anti-Semitic, well then if you say something about the Arabs, then you anti-Semitic, because they're Semitic too. If you say something about this one that's called a Negro, then you are being, if the Arabs say something about him, or the Edomite Jews say something about this one that's called a Negro, then you are anti-Semitic too, because we are the children of Israel, and we are Semitic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother.
Now we're gonna look up the word Semite. We're going to Funky Wagner's for this. I know my brother, his name is Brother Reggie, you know, man, you going to Funky Wagner's? Yep, because they got some information in these books too. Some historical information.
Yep, and it's volume 21, Reggie. Semites, page 247. It says, term first used toward the end of the 18th century.
See, so it's not really that old. You understand? So they started using this word Semite in the 1700s, the end of the 1700s. So this word is not, so we just use that for identification now. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. It says Semites, term first used toward the end of the 18th century for peoples listed in the Bible. It says Genesis 10, 21 to 32. And it says, as descended from Shem.
As descendants from Shem. So you got a whole group of people that come out of Shem. Go ahead.
The eldest son of the biblical patriarch, Noah.
Now, so we're going to break this down for you a little bit. We're going to break it down for you a little bit. We're going to give you a brief history of the Israelites. Now, let's go to Genesis, the 14th chapter. Genesis 14. And we're going to pick it up, at verse 12. Genesis 14 and 12. Go ahead and read.
Genesis chapter 14, verse 12. And they took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. And there came one that had escaped, and told Abram the Hebrew.
Stop right there. You see what he just called Abram or Abraham? The Hebrew. So now, wait a minute. So now we got Semites or Shemites, and now we got Hebrews. Does everybody understand? So now Abraham had Isaac, and then he had Ishmael. So what are Isaac and Ishmael? They are Hebrews. They're also Semitic. So if you come out of Shem, then you are Semitic. If you come out of Abraham, then you are Hebrew.
Make it plain, brother.
Because Abraham, he had like 6 other sons besides Ishmael and Isaac. He had 6 other sons. They would be considered Hebrews. Then he turned around and said, Isaac had Esau and Israel, right? So who is Esau? Esau is a Hebrew.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Israel, which we're going to show you, is Jacob. He is a Hebrew. They are all Semitic. They are all Semitic. Mm-hmm. They are all Hebrews. Mm-hmm. But is Esau, is he an Israelite? Is Ishmael an Israelite? No. Is Abraham an Israelite? No. How could he be? Come on. Let's go now. Let's go to, are you done with that?
No, sir.
Go ahead.
It says, read back at the top, it says, and there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, and Amorite, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, the brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abram. Keep going, 14.
No, we're going to hit it and we're going to quit it. Okay. We're going to go to now, we're going to go back to Zondervan's Bible Dictionary, and we're going to look up the word Hebrew. So we're going back to Zondervan's Bible Dictionary. Thought I had this. Here we go. What is a Hebrew?
Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary, page 222. Hebrew. Hebrews says designation for Abraham and descendants.
Designation for Abraham and descendants. So that's why I told you earlier that all of those that came out of Abraham are Hebrews, including the one that called himself a Jew now. He is a Hebrew. That's how I know that Esau is not the white man. Otherwise, you said then that the white man is our twin brother.
Make it plain.
Does everybody understand?
Come on.
Is the heat is too warm in here? I want y'all to go to sleep. You saying that the Gentile is Israel's twin brother because out of Esau came the Edomites, right?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And then that would make the Gentile a Hebrew. And that would also make him a Semitic. But we know that that's not true. We know that that's not true. Did you finish with that?
No.
Start that over.
Hebrews, designation for Abraham and descendants, the equivalent of Israelites. Abraham is first in Old Testament to be called Hebrew.
Abraham is the first one in the Old Testament to be called Hebrew.
Yes, sir. Genesis 14:13.
Now, let's go now. Let's go to Galatians, the 4th chapter, because you know there's always been a little controversy. In fact, I heard somebody say this not too long ago with Ishmael and Isaac. A little controversy there. Well, we're going to clear the controversy up because, you know, some people think that Ishmael is the son of the promise. And, you know, that's supposed to be their land. But I tell you what, it's not neither one. It's not Ishmael's land or neither is it Esau's land. Right. It is Israel's land. That's right. And that's what the Lord is going to bring back to that land, and they're going to dwell in that land forever. Yeah. They've been fighting over that land for 2,000 years. Galatians, the 4th chapter, Galatians 4. Galatians 4, and we're going to pick up at verse 22. Now, do we have anything against the Arabs? No, we don't have nothing against the Arabs and the Muslims. We don't have nothing against them. But we got to put things in their proper place, in their proper order. Although Abraham was trying to make Ishmael the son of the promise, God was like, Isaac is going to be the son of the promise. Now, who can say or do anything about that? Because you find yourself fighting against God. We at Galatians 4 and 22. Galatians 4 and 22. Go ahead and read it.
Galatians chapter 4, verse 22. For it is written that Abraham had 2 sons.
But, you know, if we had kept reading in First Chronicles, the 1st chapter, we could have read his other sons too. He had like 6 other sons, Midian, Joktan, and so on and so forth. So, but the Bible places its attention to these two sons right here. And more specifically, Isaac. So it touches on Ishmael and his seed for a little bit. Then mainly it started talking about Isaac and his seed being the Israelites. Because Isaac is the son of the promise. Go ahead and read.
For it is written that Abraham had two sons, the one by a bondmaid and the other by a free woman.
Go ahead.
But he who was of the bondwoman was born after the flesh, but he of the free woman was by promise.
Now, so who was the woman that had the son that was born after the flesh? It is Hagar, and her son was Ishmael. Who is the free woman? It is Sarah and her son Isaac. That's the free woman. And the son of the promise is Isaac. Keep reading.
24. Which things are an allegory, for these are the two covenants, the one from the Mount Sinai was gendered to bondage, which is Hagar.
Which is Hagar. That is the woman that had the son of the flesh. Go ahead and read.
For this Hagar is Mount Sinai in Arabia.
And who sits in Arabia? The Arabs, right?
Come on.
It says, for this Hagar is Mount Sinai in Arabia. Go ahead and read.
In answer to Jerusalem, which now is and is in bondage with her children.
Because they are the children of the flesh. Yeah, this is Abraham's child, but they still are the children of the flesh, because Isaac, in thy seed shall all the nations be blessed. And Isaac, the seed came through Isaac. So Isaac is the son of the promise. Skip to verse 28. Go ahead.
28. Now we, brethren, as Isaac was, are the children of promise.
That's what we are. We are just like Isaac was. We are the children of the promise. Isaac is the son of the promise. And not only that, he is the son of Abraham's wife, Abraham's first wife, which is Sarah, which was his sister, his father's daughter, by the way.
Come on.
So, now we see Isaac is the son of the promise. Now we're going to deal back now with Esau and Israel. Esau and Israel, we got to find out who this Israel is, which is really Jacob. Y'all already know that, right? We're going to read it anyway. Let's go to Genesis, the 25th chapter, Genesis 25. Genesis 25, and we're going to pick it up at verse 19. Genesis 25 and 19. Look, all the people that we are looking at are Semitic people, all except Hagar. Hagar was an Egyptian which came out of Ham. So she's the only one that we looked at so far that is not a Semite or a Shemite. And a Hebrew. She's the only one. Everybody else, Hebrew, Semitic. Genesis 25 and 19. Genesis 25 and 19. Go ahead and read.
Genesis chapter 25, verse 19. These are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, and the Syrian of Padanaram, the sister of Laban, the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together with her.
Now it said
within her.
The children struggled together within her. So she's got twins, right? Go ahead and read. Look, they struggling already. In the womb they struggling. Fighting already. But go ahead and read.
And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb.
Two nations are in thy womb. Two nations. Now, God set this. Now, man didn't set this up. God set this up. And he said, 2 nations are in our womb. And I don't understand, because I had brothers say, well, how could 2 nations of people be in the same mother? Well, if you look at Ham's descendants, Cush, which is Ethiopia, Mizraim, that is Egypt, Put, that's Libya, and then Canaan, that's the Canaanite. 4 different nations. Same mother, same father. And that's the same thing we got right here. We got twins, but out of these 2 twins came 2 different nations. The Israelites and the Edomites. What's the problem with that? I just can't understand that. How is it that you cannot understand this? And we as Israelites, we really should understand this. What verse did you leave off at?
Back at 23.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
Uh-huh.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
Uh-huh.
And the elder shall serve the younger.
And the elder is going to serve the younger. Now, did God say this or did we say this?
Lord.
The Lord is saying this. The elder is going to serve the younger. Go ahead and read.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over, like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau.
So now, when the book says over in Chronicles, Isaac had Esau and Israel, now we know who, we get ready to find out who this Israel is. Because he said, when he came out, he was red and hairy all over, right? So he is the oldest one. Esau is our older brother. And he is not the white man.
Make it plain, bro. Make it plain.
Boogity, 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 boogity. You know? Trying to make him sound spooky. No. He is not the white man. Esau is the one that you are calling Jewish. That is Esau. He might look, his skin might, but just because we look darker. We look like the Africans, but we're not Africans.
Make that plain, bro. That's it.
And God knows who he is dealing with when he looks at a man. You know who he's dealing with. Read that verse one more time.
25.
Uh-huh.
And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment.
Uh-huh.
And they called his name Esau.
Go ahead.
And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
Uh-huh.
And his name was called Jacob.
Uh-huh.
And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them.
So now we know who this Israel is then. When the book said Isaac bare Esau and Israel. It is Esau and Jacob, which were twins. Now notice something. You don't see the color of Jacob right here, do you? You only see the color of Esau. Said he was red and hairy all over, right? Why don't you see the color of Jacob right here? Well, we're going to show you his color later on. We're going to show you his color later on. Because the Lord wanted the children of Israel to be hidden for a while. You know, say the nations are not going to know who they are for a while. They're not going to even know who they are for a while. But thank God he has blessed us, and we know who we are now. But we're going to get to that in the next lesson. So let's go now. Let's go to Genesis, the 32nd chapter. Because you might be asking, well, why did God call Jacob's name Israel? Let's find out. Genesis 32, and we're going to pick it up at verse 24. Genesis 32 and 24. See, these things, as Israelites and as servants of God, whatever nationality you find you are, these things we should know. Because these things that we're reading today are really basic things dealing with the children of Israel. These are basic things. Genesis 32 and 24. Genesis 32 and 24. And if you call yourself of the seed of Israel, because you know you got some of our brothers saying that they Gentile, darker than me. They're Gentiles. You got some of our brothers saying that they Kemetic. They Egyptians, you understand? Ain't got no proof, but they Kemetic. Talking about they build the pyramid, all the pyramids and all this stuff, and Israel never dwelt in Egypt and all this type of stuff. Then you got some of our brothers saying that they Africans. You know, we're going back to Africa, the African movement, Marcus Garvey and all this stuff. No proof. Just that's who we are. And you know why they say that's who we are? Because somebody just told them that, and then they believed it, and they ran with it. And thank God he have opened. Wasn't nothing that we did on our own. God just decided to pick you, me, Brother Caleb, Brother George, you name it. He just decided to pick us. And give us this understanding of who we are. We at Genesis 32 and 24. Go ahead and read it.
Genesis chapter 32, verse 24.
Uh-huh.
And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day.
Uh-huh.
And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint.
Uh-huh. And you know, most people would have been, hey man, I'm gone. My leg broke up. I'm gonna hobble on home. Right? But Jacob held on though. He's like, you know, I'm not going nowhere until you bless me. Go ahead and read that verse 25 again.
And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint, as he wrestled with him.
Go ahead. Now Jacob wrestling with this angel now. Because this not no ordinary man, because he just touched his thigh and it was out of joint. So this not no ordinary man he wrestling with. Verse 26, go ahead.
26. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me.
Jacob holding on. He knew he had you going to bless me. I'm not going nowhere. So he said, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. It's daybreak now. He's still holding on. I remember one time I was young, and me and another young man we was into it, so we started wrestling in the class, and it was time to go, right? So everybody got up, left. The teacher, he got up, left, turned the light off, and we still there holding each other, wrestling in the room. Everybody go. So I just thought of that. I mean, you know, let's keep reading. Okay. I can imagine now him holding on and not letting go. Go ahead and read it.
You let me go.
Right. You let me go. You let me go. Go ahead.
27.
And
he said unto him, what is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob.
Thy name shall be called no more Jacob.
But Israel.
But Israel. So Jacob's name was changed from Jacob to Israel. That's why the book said Isaac had Esau and Israel, because Jacob's name was changed to Israel. Read that one more time.
And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and has prevailed.
Ooh. You see what he just said? And thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and has prevailed. That's what Israel means. That's what Israel means. As a prince, thou hast power with God and with man. You know, it's like if you're walking in righteousness, you got a special connection with God. You understand? Because God adopted the children of Israel. All of our last names supposed to be Israel. Not Johnson or Russell or, Baker or all these names. Our last name's supposed to be Israel. That's our last name. You see Jeremiah with a last name? You don't see Jeremiah, Isaiah, Moses. You don't see Jesus. Nobody with a last name. You know why? Because all of their names, their last names was Israel.
Adoption. Yes, sir.
When you adopt somebody, you give them your last name, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's go now. Let's go to Let's go to Acts the 7th chapter, Acts 7. Acts 7. And we're going to pick it up at verse 2. Acts 7, and we're going to pick it up at verse 2. Acts 7, and we're going to pick it up at verse 2. So now we're going to start bringing the children of Israel, we're going to start bringing them on the scene now. So we're going to break them down for you a little bit. Let's go, we're at Acts 7, and we're going to pick it up at verse 2. Acts 7 and 2. Go ahead and read.
Acts chapter 7, verse 2.
Uh-huh.
And he said, Men, brethren, and fathers, hearken, the God of glory appeared unto our father Abraham, when he was in Mesopotamia, before he dwelt in Cherem, and said unto him, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and come into the land which I shall show thee. Then came he out of the land of Chaldea, of the Chaldeans, and dwelt in Charan, and from thence, when his father was dead, he removed him into this land, wherein ye now dwell.
Skip to verse 6. Skip to verse 6. Go ahead.
And God spake on this wise, that his seed should sojourn in a strange land.
Talking about the children of Israel. They're going to sojourn in a strange land.
And that they should bring them into bondage and entreat them evil 400 years.
Now this is, some people saying that this is talking about America. This is not talking about America. This is talking about when the children of Israel went down into Egypt and they were there for 400 years.
That's it, brother.
This is not talking about America. Us being here in America. Go ahead and read.
Verse 7.
I tell you, boy, we got a lot of allegories and stories as pertains to the children of Israel.
False teachers.
I didn't want to go there, but go ahead.
Verse 7.
In
the nation to whom they shall be in bondage will I judge, said God.
Go ahead. So now, of course the Lord one day, he's going to judge America. We understand that. Not only is he going to judge America, but he's going to judge all nations. But this nation right here, he's talking about judging, it is Egypt. So the Lord went in there and beat Egypt down and brought his people out of there. All of them. When they left, Pharaoh was like, look, first he was like, leave a hook, leave the cattle behind. Moses was like, we're not going to leave a hook. We taking everybody, we taking all our cattle with us. And Pharaoh, once the Lord put that whooping on them and started killing the firstborn and everything, Pharaoh was like, their God is God. Y'all get up out of here, Moses. And bless me also. You're dealing with the God of the creation right here, the God of Israel.
Hallelujah.
Go ahead and read. What verse you at?
Back at 7. The nation to whom they shall be in bondage will I judge, said God.
Go ahead.
And after that shall they come forth and serve me in this place. And he gave him the covenant of circumcision. And so Abraham...
Now, hold on one second, because, look at what we just read right here, verse 7. And the nation to whom they shall be in bondage will I judge, God said, and after that shall they come forth and serve me in this place. What place are we in right here? We're in the land of Canaan right here. Not in America. This is the land of Canaan that they are in Sharan right here. That is the land of Canaan, the Canaanites. So this could be talking about America. Verse 8, go ahead and read.
Verse 8. And he gave him the covenant of circumcision.
Now look, God gave Abraham the covenant of the circumcision. Because I got a brother keep talking, well, see, the Jews, they had to get circumcised. So Abraham, he got circumcised along with his people. And so Abraham is a Jew. I was like, man, there wasn't no such thing as a Jew when God gave Abraham the circumcision. Wasn't no such thing. When Abraham died, Jacob and Esau was about 16 years old. And at that time, Jacob did not have no children. He was only 16 years old when Abraham died. So Abraham didn't know nothing about no Jew. Didn't even know nothing about the children of Israel. So how could he have been a Jew? And then Judah is the fourth son. Why wasn't Abraham a Reubenite? Or a Simeon? You understand? Or a Levite? Then you get to Judah. But anyway, keep reading. What verse now? You have read verse 8 again.
Yeah. Verse 8.
Uh-huh.
And he gave him the covenant of circumcision.
Uh-huh.
And so Abraham begot Isaac and circumcised him the 8th day.
Uh-huh.
And Isaac begot Jacob.
Go ahead.
And Jacob begot the 12 patriarchs.
And Jacob, see, you know, he put it right, the lineage. He gave you the lineage straight right here. He said, and he gave him the covenant of circumcision. So Abraham begot Isaac and circumcised him the 8th day. And Isaac begot Jacob, and Jacob begot the 12 patriarchs. Now we're going to deal with these 12 patriarchs. We're going to deal with these 12 patriarchs, which are the 12 tribes of Israel. So now, let's go to Exodus, the first chapter. Exodus 1. So we're just doing a brief history.
Not reading now, brother.
Yeah, go ahead and read verse 9. Read verse 9.
And the patriarchs moved with envy.
Uh-huh.
So Joseph to Egypt.
Uh-huh. That's it.
But God was with them.
Now they moved down to Egypt. Joseph went down to Egypt first. So now he had called his brothers and his father come down to Egypt, and they dwelt in the land of Goshen. Right? Mm-hmm. So now, and then you can go and look up on the internet and see that this land of Goshen still exists. This land still exists. See, people say that the Bible is not true, but then if you go do a little research, you'll find out that it is true.
So no.
I mean, you got the places, just like when let's go back a little bit. Let's go back to Sodom and Gomorrah. Go on your internet and punch up the ruins of Sodom and Gomorrah, and you will see the whole city of Sodom and Gomorrah in ashes. Just like the Bible says. Now that's enough right there to scare me. Because when I first saw it, boy, I had this eerie feeling come over me. Now we're going to deal with the children of Israel, the 12 sons right here. We had Exodus 1, and we're going to pick it up in verse 1. Go ahead and read
it. Exodus chapter 1, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Excuse me. Now these, excuse me. Don't leave my mic up. But yeah.
Turn his mic up a little bit, man. He can't.
Now these are the names of the children of Israel which came into Egypt. Every man in his household came with Jacob.
Uh-huh.
Reuben, Simeon.
Now we're going in order now of their ages. So Reuben is the first son, then Simeon, then Levi. Uh-huh.
Levi and Judah.
Now I want you to see something later on, dealing with these two right here, Levi and Judah. Go ahead and read.
Issachar, Zebulun and Benjamin, Dan and Naphtali, Gad and Asher, and all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob was 70 souls. For Joseph was in Egypt already. Now Joseph is the 12th son, and so he was in Egypt already. Because remember, Joseph his brothers threw him in a pit, and then the Israelites came and grabbed him out of the pit and sold him into Egypt. So then, Joseph was in Egypt, Pharaoh took Joseph and made him viceroy in Egypt, which was second in command. And now, if you go and punch in up on your internet, was a lot of stuff on the internet. So if you go on the internet and punch up Joseph's grain pits, you'll see that these grain pits that Joseph built in Egypt exist even today. These grain pits that he built. So now Joseph is viceroy
At this time, he's second like vice president in Egypt. But then he died, right? Go ahead and read.
Verse 6.
Uh-huh.
And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation.
So now all the 12 sons had died, including their father had died, and all the 12 sons had died. Right? Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. All of them died. That generation died. Then Joseph died. Go ahead and read.
Verse 7.
Uh-huh.
And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly, and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty.
Because Israel like having babies. So so they go and lay with the wife. We in bondage, we going home and lay with the wife. I got hit with that whip today. I'm going home and lay with the wife.
Yes, sir. Take that pressure off.
Take the pressure. There you go. Thank you, brother. So, Israel had a lot of babies. Then some of us got a big family too, because it's 11 of us. You understand? Some of us in here got big families. Because Israel like having babies. So now, go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. It says back at 7.
Uh-huh.
And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly, and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them.
Now, the land was filled with them. I know the Egyptians had been, man, it shows a lot of y'all. So, word got back to Pharaoh, hey man, they having all these babies. You understand? I go in my neighborhood. It's only 2 of us in the neighborhood. The rest of the people are Israelites. They all over the place. But go ahead and read.
Verse 8.
Uh-huh.
Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
Look, they start outnumbering the children of Israel. So word got back to Pharaoh, hey man, they started to outnumber us now. We got to do something about this. Go ahead and read.
Verse 10.
Come
on, let us deal wisely with them. Lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also into our enemies and fight against us.
Go ahead.
And so get them up out of the land.
So get them up out of the land. Skip to verse 15.
15. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shiphrah.
Now, actually, this is really starting to become the beginning of the children of Israel as they're becoming a nation. Because once they got kicked out of Egypt, that's when the Lord made them a nation. So now this is the beginning of it. Pharaoh got in his mind, look, we got to get them out of here. Because we have a war with some of our enemies. They're going to join them and fight against us. And we're going to lose our land. Start that verse again, verse 15.
15. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him.
Now, imagine that. Now, you see what he just called the Hebrew midwives, right? Because these are Israelites that are called Hebrews. And I could have took you somewhere other in here and showed you where the children of Israel, Pharaoh said, look, get the Hebrews out of here. You understand? Because Israelites are Hebrews. And they come out of Shem, so they are Semitic. So he said, when you do the office of a midwife, because the midwife, they come to deliver the babies, right? To the Hebrew women, not to the Egyptians, but to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools. I don't know what that is. If it be a son, then ye shall kill him. Now, what woman gonna do something like this? So now, especially Israelite women, you see another Israelite woman having a baby, you're going to go over there and kill the boy. What woman going to do this? So the midwife they had to think, well, what are we going to do? We got to do something about this. We can't go around killing our babies. The boys especially. Egypt, Pharaoh thinking of extermination, right? But the midwives like, no, we can't do this. We can't kill our children like this. And then who can do that? I mean, what person, especially a woman, go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. It says, then ye shall kill them, but if it be a daughter, then she shall live.
See, because if we kill the males, then the children of Israel, after a while, we sleep with their women, then the children of Israel will no longer exist.
Fade to black.
They'll be all Egyptians. The man carries the seed as long as the boy is alive, and then he get grown and get a wife and have children, then that race is going to consist. But if we take away the boy and leave the girl, and then we get an Egyptian man to lay with the girl, the Hebrew girl, then those babies that they have will be what? Egyptians. Go ahead and read.
Verse 17.
But
the midwives feared God.
See, no, we can't do this. God will probably put a whooping on us, so we got to think fast. Go ahead and read.
But the midwives feared God, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive.
Go ahead, keep reading.
And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, why have you done this thing?
Like they supposed to go just start killing them. Now he gonna come, well, why have you done this? Didn't I command you to kill the male child? Go ahead and read. Now they had to think fast. Now look at what they said. Go ahead and read.
Why have you done this thing? And have saved the men children alive?
Go ahead.
Then the midwife said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, but they are lively.
You see how he just separated them? He said, look, they had to think fast. They say the Hebrew women, they not like the Egyptian women. Go ahead and read.
They are lively.
They are lively. So we get there, they done had the baby already.
And are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them.
See, they done already had a baby by the time we got there. Now, they should be, every time you get there, the baby already delivered. So, but they had to think fast.
At once.
So when Pharaoh came, hey, why y'all do this? They said, when we got there, the baby was born already. They were still delivering the children, the male children, and keeping them alive. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. It says, verse 20.
Therefore
God dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty.
See, God dealt well with the midwives.
Hallelujah.
Go ahead and read. What did he do for them?
And it came to pass. Because the midwives feared God, that he made them houses.
He made them houses. Other people going into slavery, but he made them houses.
Took care of.
The Lord took care of them.
Yes, sir.
Verse 22, go ahead.
And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive.
See how men think about other men? They don't care nothing about killing them, even babies. Throw them in the river. We don't care. Throw them in the river. It's a boy. Throw them in the river. That is evil. That is wicked. Why did he just say, well, y'all get on out, y'all gotta go? He could, just y'all gotta go. Probably so many of them, he probably look and say, we tell them that, they probably uprising. We ain't going nowhere. Just like brothers say here in America, we ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere till the Lord comes. They're talking about go back to Africa. You go back to Africa. I don't know nothing about no Africa. This is the greatest country in the world right here. And the Lord placed the Jews here. I ain't going nowhere. You might put me up, but anyway. Let's go to Nehemiah, the 9th chapter. But when the time comes,
I'm out.
yes, sir. Butt soles and elbows. Amen. Nehemiah, the 9th chapter. Nehemiah 9. Nehemiah 9, and we're going to pick it up at verse 7. Nehemiah 9 and 7. Because, you know, the children of Israel, eventually, they had to leave Egypt. You understand? God made it where, look, y'all getting ready to walk up out of here. When y'all walk up out of here, y'all going to have riches when y'all come up out of here. And not only that, I'm going to do some miracles. I'm going to beat Pharaoh down, and I'm going to do some miracles before your eyes. So why did he do all these miracles before? So they could believe in him. That's why. That's why when Jesus came, he's doing all those miracles so the people could believe in him. Because let somebody come start doing some miracles, boy, we're going to be looking at him like, man.
Yes, sir.
We're going to start looking at him like, you know, hey. Let's go now. Let's go to Nehemiah 9 and 7. Nehemiah 9 and 7. Go ahead and read it.
Nehemiah chapter 9, verse 7.
Uh-huh.
Thou art the Lord, the God, who didst choose Abram, and brought him forth out of Ur of the Chaldees.
Now look, God chose Abraham, just like he chose the children of Israel. God chose him. And that is really something big right there. When God choose you and call you out by name, then tell you that through your seed, all the nations of the earth going to be blessed. Boy, what a blessing.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. Thou art the Lord, the God, who did choose Abram, and brought him forth out of Ur of the Chaldees, and gave him the name of Abraham.
Go ahead.
And found his heart faithful before thee, and madeth a covenant with him to give the land of the Canaanites.
Stop right there. You see who the covenant started with? Abraham, to give them the land of the Canaanites. Go ahead and read.
The Hittites and the Amorites and the Perizzites and the Jebusites and the Girgashites to give it, I say, to his seed, and has performed thy words.
Go ahead.
For thou art righteous.
Now, because Abraham is righteous, I'm going to take this beautiful land right here, the glory of all lands, and I'm going to give it to your seed, Abraham.
Hallelujah.
The glory is saying land of milk and honey. When they went in and spied the land, they carried out grapes. The clusters were so big, men had to take it on sticks and carry it out of the land into the wilderness. That's how fruitful the land was. Go ahead and read. What verse you at?
9. And did see the affliction of our fathers in Egypt, and heard of their cry by the Red Sea, and showed signs and wonders upon Pharaoh.
See, he showed signs and wonders upon Pharaoh. He went in there, brought lice, frogs, flies, you name it, boils, turned the water to blood. He beat Egypt down, man. And Pharaoh's like, y'all get up out of here. So when the Lord finished with Pharaoh, he had all the green, the grass and all that stuff. The locusts done ate it all up. Can you imagine that? We looking at green grass and leaves and trees and everything. In a matter of a day or two, it's all gone. You know this is God. Go ahead and read.
And showed signs and wonders upon Pharaoh, and on all his servants, and on all the people of his land.
Go ahead.
But thou knewest that they dealt proudly against them. So didst thou give thee a name as it is this day.
Go ahead.
And thou didst divide the sea before them, so that they went through the midst of the sea on the dry land.
So look, this is one of the big miracles. This story is being told in churches all over the world. This same story right here, that the children of Israel went through the Red Sea on dry ground. This story is being told still in this generation all over the world. All over the world. And then you go right on your internet again and punch up the Red Sea crossing, and you will see that they found the actual debris in the Gulf of Aqaba. Because men had been looking on one side of the Red Sea, they didn't find nothing. So they went on the east side of the Red Sea, in the Gulf of Akbar in the 70s, they found the debris going across from one side of the Gulf of Akbar right on into the wilderness. And then they found bones, horse bones, chariot wheels, chariots, and guess what? These chariots and these chariot wheels belong to the Egyptians. They compared it to some of the chariots and the chariot wheels, because they had like 4 spoke wheels on the chariots, and these are the same ones that they had in some of the tombs. So they knew exactly where these chariots and these chariot wheels and the horses, horse bones, human bones, all this had came from right here in the Bible, where the Bible told you it came from. Does everybody understand? This thing is real. What verse you at?
The end of 11.
Go. Skip to verse 13. Skip to verse 13. Go ahead.
13.
Uh-huh.
Thou camest down also on Mount Sinai, and spakest with them from heaven.
Go ahead.
And gavest them right judgments, and true laws, good statutes, and commandments.
Now look at what God is giving them now. Showing them the right way, and showing them how to be a holy people and righteous to Him. Verse 14, go ahead.
And made of known unto them thy holy Sabbath. And commanded them precepts, statutes, and laws. By the hand of Moses thy servant.
By the hand of Moses thy servant. Skip to verse 23. Go ahead and read.
23.
Their
children also multiplied thou as the stars of heaven.
So now they still having babies. Even when they left up out of Egypt, they still having all these babies. Go ahead and read.
And brought them into the land concerning which thou hadst promised to their fathers.
Now what land was promised to our fathers? It was the land of Canaan. This is the land that was promised to our fathers. Their children also multiplied thou as the stars of heaven, and brought them into the land concerning which thou hast promised to their fathers. Because when they first were in the wilderness, the Lord made them stay there for 40 years. Because they had started murmuring against Moses and Aaron, and Lord, like, you know what? How long am I going to deal with these people? But the days that y'all been murmuring, that's how many years y'all going to be in the wilderness. And that was for 40 years. So the ones that was 20 years old and upward, they died right there in the wilderness. And the ones that were 19 and younger, besides Caleb and Joshua, those are the ones who got into the land of Canaan. Go ahead and read.
That they should go in to possess it.
So
the children went in and possessed the land.
And
thou subdued before them the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites.
Go ahead.
And gave them into their hands with their kings and the people of the land, that they might do with them as they would.
Now look, because when God gives you something, boy, He getting ready to set you out. You understand? He getting ready to get the best. But look at what He did when He took the land of Canaan from the Canaanites and gave it to the children of Israel. Go ahead and read.
25. And they took strong cities and a fat land.
Go ahead.
And possessed houses full of all goods.
Full of what?
All goods.
So when they got there, it was already set up. You know how the Lord set up man before He created Adam? Everything was here for him already. See? So now He set up the children of Israel, so when they go up in the land, everything is there for them already. Go ahead and read. Because God, He know how to hook men up, boy. He know how to set you up. When you get there, it's going to already be there for you. Go ahead and read.
And possess houses full of all.
Start it over.
Yeah, 25. And they took strong cities and a fat land, and possessed houses full of all goods. Wells digged, vineyards and olive yards.
Look at that. Wells digged, olive yards and vineyards. Man, the Lord set them up, boy. That's all they had to do. After we whooped them, that's all we had to do is walk on into the land. Pick your house, man. You want that house over there, Caleb? Yeah, I'll take that house. You want that house over there? Yep, I'll take that house. Go ahead and read.
Vineyards and olive yards and fruit trees in abundance. So they did eat and were filled and became fat and delighted themselves in thy great goodness.
Now, so he said they did eat and became fat. You know, Israel waxed fat and then they started kicking. But anyway, we'll get to that some other, that's another lesson. We'll get to that. Let's go now. Let's go to Ezekiel the 16th chapter. Ezekiel the 16th chapter. I'm telling you, man, God hooked his people up. And they gave up a big thing, man, when they wouldn't keep his laws, his commandments. They gave up a big thing. We had Ezekiel 16 and 3. Ezekiel 16, and 3. Will you get it, brother? Start reading.
Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 3.
Uh-huh.
And say, thus said the Lord God unto Jerusalem,
Uh-huh.
thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan.
Uh-huh.
Thy father was an Amorite,
Uh-huh.
and thy mother a Hittite.
Now, why is he saying thy father is an Amorite and thy mother is a Hittite? Because this is the land of Israel's nativity. This is where they became a nation, the land of Canaan. And so he said, look, thy father was an Amorite and thy mother was a Hittite, because this is the land that they came to take over. From the Amorites, the Hittites, the Jebusites, the Girgasites.
Yes, sir.
Took their land. Go ahead and read.
Verse 4.
Uh-huh.
And as for thy nativity, in the day thou wast born,
Uh-huh.
thy navel was not cut,
Go ahead.
neither was thou washed in water to supple thee.
Uh-huh.
To supple thee, thou wast not salted at all,
Uh-huh.
nor swallowed at all.
In other words, you all were not even a people. You were not even a people. Nobody knew anything about you or any of this. Go ahead and read.
None I pitied thee,
Uh-huh.
to do any of these unto thee,
Uh-huh.
to have compassion upon thee.
Uh-huh. See, what nobody wasn't even caring about you. Go ahead and read.
But thou wilt cast out in the open field
Uh-huh.
to the loathing of thy person in the day that thou wast born.
Go ahead.
And when I passed by thee, I saw thee polluted in thine own blood.
Uh-huh. See, you were defiled people when I saw you. You were polluted in your own blood. You were defiled people. Go ahead and read.
I said unto thee when thou wast in thy blood,
Uh-huh.
live. Yea, I said to thee,
Uh-huh.
when thou was in thy blood, live.
Uh-huh.
I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field,
Uh-huh.
and thou hast increased and waxen great.
See, he said, wait a minute. I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field, and thou hast increased and waxed great.
Yes, sir.
Now they're becoming famous and everything. God hooking them up. Go ahead and read.
And thou art come to excellent ornaments.
Uh-huh.
Thy breasts are fashioned.
Thy breasts are fat. You know how a young woman, when she comes into her age, her breasts start coming out? And this is how he is likening Israel to a woman. Go ahead and read.
Thy breasts are fashioned,
Uh-huh.
and thine hair is grown.
Go ahead.
Whereas thou was naked and bare.
See, you was naked and bare. Now you looking good. You understand? You done spurted out or prospered and everything, and now you looking like a woman that a young woman when she comes into her maturity. Go ahead and read.
Verse 8.
Uh-huh.
Now when I passed by thee and looked upon thee, behold, thy time was the time of love.
Look, he said, man, when I saw you now, you looking all good and everything. Now is the time for love. Just like with a man and a woman. Go ahead and read.
And I spread my skirt over thee,
Uh-huh.
and covered thy nakedness. Yea, I swear unto thee,
Uh-huh.
and enter into a covenant with thee.
See, now, wait a minute now, because you know, God of Israel, you got to enter into a covenant. If you're going to be his servant, you got to enter into a covenant with him. So he said, I spread my skirt over thee, and cover thy nakedness. Yea, I swear unto thee, and enter into a covenant with thee. Can you imagine that? God entered into a covenant with a nation of people.
Yes, sir.
What other people on the planet can say this? No other people. Go ahead and read.
And enter into a covenant with thee, saith the Lord God, and thou becamest mine.
And thou became a man, just like when a man marries a woman, that woman becomes his woman. That's his wife. And that's the same thing we're looking at right here. When God decided to marry the children of Israel, she became his. He went into a covenant with her. He married her.
Yes, sir.
Just like a man married a woman, you come into a covenant. Go ahead and read.
Verse 9.
Uh-huh.
Then wash I thee with water, yea, I thoroughly washed away thy blood from thee, and I anointed thee with oil, and I clothed thee also with broidered work, and shod thee with badger skin,
Look, he's giving them the
and
best.
girded thee about with fine
You know how
linen.
you go out sometimes, you want to buy your wife a nice dress? So now the Lord is hooking up his wife. And I clothed thee also with broidered work, and shod thee with badger skin. That must have been the material of the day. You understand? Then he said, and I girded thee with fine linen,
And I covered thee with silk.
That is a nice garment to have even today, right? Silk. Look, he decking her out. Decking his people out. Look at what else he did for him. Go ahead and read.
I decked thee also with ornaments. And I put bracelets upon thy hands. And a chain on thy neck.
And a chain on thy neck. You thought the children of Israel just started wearing chains on their neck in the 80s. Lord knew the children of Israel, hey man, they like nice clothes. So Israel, he walk around, he ain't got no job. But he got on $100 pair of sneakers though. So the Lord knew this. Look, these people, they like to look good, so I'm going to hook them up. You understand? Just like a wife, she like to look good. You understand? So I'm going to go and give her what she wants. And so this is how he did with the children of Israel. Put a gold chain around their neck. Go ahead and read.
Verse 12.
Uh-huh.
And I put jewel on their forehead,
Uh-huh.
and earrings in thine ears, and a beautiful crown upon thine head.
Uh-huh. Now that I've got you decked out, go ahead and read.
Thus was thou decked with gold and silk.
Uh-huh.
And thy raiment was of fine linen and silk.
Uh-huh. Said it twice.
And broidered work.
Uh-huh.
Thou didst eat the fine.
You know, broidered
flour.
work is like hand stitched.
Yes, sir.
You understand? So he had, you know, they looking good. So you got a nation of people looking like this. All the other nations gonna be looking. People right there, boy, they decked out.
Fresh.
What they doing? What they doing over there? What God they serving? This is how it was supposed to go. But not only am I gonna give you some wisdom, but I'm gonna make you look good too. So all the people gonna look at you and say, man, these people decked out, man. And not only that, they so wise. Who is your God? Maybe I want to serve your God. Go ahead and read.
Thou didst eat the fine flour and honey and oil, and thou wast exceeding beautiful. And thou didst prosper in the kingdom.
And thou didst prosper into a kingdom.
And thy renown went forth among the heathen for thy beauty.
See that? So, you know, the nations start looking at the children of Israel, how just look at all this broidered work and stitch work they got and gold chains around their neck and everything. Who is your God? I want to serve him. So he said, their renown went forth from among the heathen,
For thy beauty.
for thy beauty. Go ahead.
For it was perfect through my comeliness, which I had put upon thee,
Go ahead.
said the Lord God.
Now, so the Lord now, they are in the land of Canaan, and now he has hooked them up. Fine clothes and good food, and you know, Israel gonna wax fat and start kicking though, but anyway, I guess they enjoyed it while they could. So now they are in the land. Let's go now. So now the Lord gonna really lay it down for them. Let's go to Deuteronomy the 7th chapter. Deuteronomy 7. Because the Lord, he really loved his people, and he really did them good. Deuteronomy 7, and we're going to pick up at verse 6. Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Not only are you a wise people, not only are you a people that look beautiful, But now I'm gonna make it where you are holy people, even to me.
Amen.
We are Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Go ahead and read it.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto
now
himself.
He said, look, you are a holy people unto the Lord thy God. And he hath chosen thee to be a special people unto him. A special people, peculiar, special, same thing. Because other scriptures tell you peculiar. So now, I have chosen you out of all the nations on the earth, Israel. I have chosen you to be my people. Go ahead and read.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Above all the people upon the face of the earth, I chose you. And what did he choose them to do? He chose the children of Israel to teach all the other nations. That's what our job was. And that's what our job is now, to teach all other nations. But we got to start with Israel. We got to start with Israel. But Israel, hard-headed and stiff-necked people. I mean, Jesus even told you, Israel, they seek about the sign, but the Gentile, they seek wisdom. So it's a hard job dealing with the children of Israel. But it can be done. Go ahead and read. What verse you have?
7. And the Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because ye were more in number than any people.
Go ahead.
But ye were the fewest of all people.
It's just like us in this country now. You know, the Gentiles like 60% of this of the population. We are only 13% of the population. Then you got the Hispanic race that has outnumbered us. They have outnumbered us now, and we're only 13% of the population. We are the minority in this country, but the majority in the prison houses. Go figure. But it's a reason for that. And we're going to get to that in the next lesson. Go ahead and read.
Verse 8. But because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn to your fathers, have the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen from the hand of Pharaoh king of Egypt.
Go ahead.
Know therefore that the Lord thy God, he is God, the faithful God, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations.
To a what?
1,000 generations.
Now, have we reached 1,000 generations yet?
No, sir.
So what are we supposed to be doing?
Keeping them commandments.
Keeping those commandments. Go ahead and read. What verse you at?
10. And repayeth them that hate him to their face.
You see
to
that?
Destroy them.
Who gonna stop them? He said he repayeth them that hate him to their face. So you cross this God right here, you got a punishment coming. And he gonna do it in your face. And repayeth them that hate him to their face,
to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him. He will repay him to his face.
See, God ain't got, you don't have to worry about nobody, so he gonna repay you to your face. And what are you going to do about it? Say ouch and keep on moving. That's what you're going to do. Let's go to Genesis 29th chapter, because I want to show you something right here. I want to show you something right here. Genesis, the 29th chapter. We're almost there. Just a brief history of the Israelites. Genesis 29, and we're going to pick it up at verse 18. Genesis 29 and 18. Because notice, before I showed you that Isaac was called first. Because the book said Abraham had Isaac and Ishmael. Right? So Isaac, being the youngest child or the youngest son, was called first. And Ishmael, being the oldest child, was called second. Now I just want to show you something right here. We're at Genesis 29 and 18. Genesis 29 and 18. Go ahead and read.
Genesis chapter 29, verse 18.
Uh-huh.
And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve these 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter.
Now this is Laban, his uncle, who he's talking to, his mother's brother that he is talking to. And so Jacob saw Rachel and he's like, you know what? I want that to be my wife. But Laban had another daughter too, which was older than Rachel, and her name was Leah. Go ahead and read.
19. And Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel.
Now look, he served 7 years for Rachel. Now he read that. I mean, that's a long time to serve for a woman, but he must have really loved her boy. 7 years? But go ahead.
And they seemed unto him but a few days for the love he had to her.
Go ahead. Can you imagine seeing her for 7 years? You can't touch her. For 7 years. Go ahead and read.
And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go to her.
Give me my wife. Give me my wife. 7 years I don't work for her, but give me my wife, man. Go ahead and read. What verse you at?
22. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place, and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to him, and he went in unto her.
Look, he done tricked him now. Put the switcheroo on him. So now, and it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to him, and he went in unto her. So now Jacob lay with Leah instead of Rachel, who we worked 7 years for. He must have got him pretty drunk. Because how you going? But anyway, if you ain't being switcheroo on me, I got to be really drunk. And I don't work for her for 7 years too. I got to be pretty drunk. So he done slipped in Leah instead of Rachel. Verse 24, go ahead.
Then Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah, his maid, for an housemaid, a handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah.
It was who?
Leah.
Leah. And Jacob probably like, what? What's going on here? Go ahead and read.
And he said to Laban, what is this thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve with thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me?
He said, man, why you trick me? I worked for 7 years for Rachel, not Leah. Go ahead and read.
26. And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country to give their younger before the firstborn.
Well, you ain't tell me that at first. So you had me work 7 years for the younger one. You ain't say nothing about I had to take the older one first.
I beguiled you.
You should have told me that at first. Yeah. Now he got to work. In order to get Rachel, now he got to work another 7 years. I've been like, I don't know, man.
Gotcha.
But he must have really loved her because he worked for her another 7 years. Verse 27, go ahead. Read verse 26 again.
Yeah. Okay. And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years.
So now you got to work 7 years if you want to have Rachel. Verse 28, go ahead.
And Jacob did so and fulfilled her week.
Man, she must have really been fine, boy. He worked enough. He done worked 14 years for this woman. Ain't touched her. Woo, man, that is really something. Go ahead and read.
And he gave him Rachel his daughter, to wife also. And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter, Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her maid.
Now, so now he's got both sisters. So which one is his wife? No. Which one is his wife? The first one. The second one is what we call these days sister wife. Because look, Leah was the first woman that he married, right? The first one that he laid with. So that is his wife. And now Rachel is his wife, but we call that like sister wives. You see that little program, come on, sister wife. So I'll just use that just so you identify.
We don't. They.
Right, they do. Well, they do. But anyway, so just so you'll know what I'm saying. Right, so now Jacob has two wives now. Now look who came out of his first wife. Look who came out of his first wife. Drop down to verse 31. Go ahead and read.
31. When the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb. But Rachel was barren.
But she was barren. Go ahead and read.
And Leah conceived and bare a son. And she called his name Reuben. For she said, surely the Lord hath looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me.
Go ahead.
And she conceived again and bare a son. And said, because the Lord hath heard that I was hated, he hath therefore given me this son also. And she called his name Simeon.
Simeon. So now she popping them out. She popping them out. Go ahead and read.
And she conceived again and bare a son. And said, now this time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons.
Because it was a good thing and a great thing for a woman to have a child. So now she's thinking, I'm having all these babies for him. He really gonna love me now. But go ahead and read.
I have borne him 3 sons, therefore was his name called Levi.
Levi. Who is Levi? This is the tribe that the priest came out of. Levi, his first wife. What does 35 say?
35. And she conceived again.
Boy, she popping them out, right?
And
Rachel still ain't having no babies. Leah just one after the other. Verse 35, go ahead.
She conceived again and bare a son, and she said, now will I praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah.
Therefore she called his name what?
Judah.
Judah.
And left barren.
Judah is the king tribe. This is the ruling tribe right here, Judah. This is the tribe who Jesus came through.
Hallelujah.
So now you see who came through Leah, his first wife? Levi, which is the priest, and Judah, which is the ruler tribe. David came through Judah. Jesus came through Judah. Solomon. Everybody understand what I'm saying? See who they came through the first wife. Now let's go look at something. Let's go to Exodus, the 28th chapter. Exodus 28. Didn't come through her handmaid. Didn't come through Rachel. Didn't come through Rachel's handmaid. Came through his first wife, Leah. We're at Exodus 28, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Exodus 28 and 1. Go ahead and read.
Exodus chapter 28, verse 1. And take thou unto thee Aaron thy brother, and his sons with him, from among the children of Israel, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office.
Oh, wait a minute. So now God is getting ready to set up his priest. He's getting ready to set up his priest. Because in Israel, not only did they have a government, but they had a spiritual man too. So now he's getting ready to set up his priest. Go ahead and read.
That he may minister unto me in the priest's office, even Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, Eleazar and Ithamar, Aaron's sons.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt make holy garment for Aaron thy brother, for glory and for beauty.
Skip to verse 4. Go ahead.
And these are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate, and an ephod, and a robe, and a broidered coat, a mitre,
Look, he had them
and a
hooked up,
girdle.
boy. He sent them out, man. They were sharp. Go ahead and read.
And a girdle, and they shall make holy garments for Aaron thy brother and his son,
Go ahead.
that he may minister unto me in the priest's office.
So now the Lord is setting up the priest's office. He even took the whole tribe of Levi and gave them to Aaron to minister unto Aaron and his sons. Aaron and his sons were the high priest. These who the high priest came out of, provided you were a fit man, because you had a crooked back or your black nose or something like that. You could not be a high priest. So then, if you had these defects, then the next brother would be the high priest.
It's written.
Then he took, like I said, the whole tribe of Levi and gave him to Aaron and his sons to minister unto him in the priest's office. So now, the Lord is setting up his priest. Let's see what the priest's supposed to do. Let's go to Malachi, the 2nd chapter. Malachi 2. Let's see what the priests were supposed to do. Why did God set them up? Malachi 2, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Malachi 2 and 1. I'm just giving you a rundown or some history of the children of Israel, our people. Malachi 2 and 1. Everybody got it? Go ahead and read.
Malachi chapter 2, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And now, O ye priests,
Uh-huh.
this commandment is for you.
Now, so who is he talking to when he said, "Oh, priest"? He is talking to the Levites. Skip to verse 4. Skip to verse 4. Go ahead and read.
And you shall know that I have sent this commandment unto you, that my covenant might be with Levi,
My covenant
saith
might
the
be
Lord
with
of
who?
hosts. Levi.
Levi. Why? Go ahead.
My covenant was with him of life and peace.
Uh-huh.
And I gave them to him for the fear wherewith he feared me.
See, that's why he did it with Levi. He made this covenant with Levi because Levi feared the Lord. Go ahead and read.
And was afraid before my name.
Uh-huh.
The law of truth was in his mouth.
The law of truth was in his mouth. He is the one who gave the people the law. Go ahead and read.
And the iniquity was not found in his lips.
Uh-huh.
He walked with me in peace and equity.
Go ahead.
And did turn many away from iniquity.
Uh-huh.
For the priest's lips should keep knowledge.
The priest's lips should keep knowledge. Go ahead.
And they should seek the law at his mouth.
Uh-huh.
For he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts.
He is the messenger of the Lord of hosts. The law came from the priest.
Hallelujah.
You know, one of the most, well, I want to say the greatest man that Jesus said is the greatest man. That was John the Baptist. And John the Baptist was a Levite. He was from the tribe of Levi. Now, so now at the priest's mouth shall go forth the law, right? Let's go now. Let's go to Amos. Let's look at somebody else real quick right here. Let's go. We're going to get to Judah in a second. Because, you know, Levi came out of Leah, and Judah did too. So we're going to get to Levi in a minute. Judah in a minute. Let's go to Amos, the 2nd chapter. I want to throw this in here. Amos 2. Amos, the 2nd chapter. And we're going to pick it up at verse, let's pick it up at verse 10. Amos 2 and 10. Everybody got it? Yeah. We're almost there. Amos 2 and 10. Go ahead and read it.
Amos chapter 2, verse 10.
Uh-huh.
Also I brought you up from the land of Egypt
Uh-huh.
and led you 40 years through the wilderness.
See, this is how long the children of Israel were in the wilderness. For 40 years. Go ahead and read.
To possess the land of the Amorite.
Uh-huh.
And I raise up of your sons for prophets.
Uh-huh.
And of your young men for Nazarites.
Stop right there. You see that? He said, I raised up your sons for prophets and for Nazarites. So all the prophets were what? Israelites. I had to tell a brother that just yesterday. All the prophets were Israelites. All the apostles were Israelites. All the prophetess were Israelites. Ain't no such thing as no deaconess now, nobody. You know, men are deacons, so they call women deaconess, not here. So now he said, I raised up your sons for prophets and of your young men for Nazarites. You know, Nazarite is one who have set himself aside for God for appointed time. So, but the children of Israel, their prophets were all Israelites, all of them. Does everybody understand?
Amen.
All of their prophets were Israelites. Go ahead and read that again.
11. And I raised up of your sons for prophets, and of your young men for Nazarites. It is not even thus, O ye children of Israel, saith the Lord.
So now we got the Levites, and now we got the prophets, which are Israelites. Let's go now. Let's go to 2 Peter, the first chapter. 2 Peter, the first chapter. Because somebody had to prophesy to this people. 2 Peter, the first chapter, and we're going to pick it up at verse 19. Somebody had to prophesy to this people. Yeah, they had the law. At the priest's mouth went the law, but somebody had to tell his people prophecy. And, you know, and warn them too. Somebody had to warn these people. Jeremiah, Isaiah, Habakkuk. They were warning the people of the Lord. Sometimes they listened, sometimes they didn't. Most times they didn't. And the Lord steady cast them into slavery. They were in and out of slavery, because of their disobedience. We're at 2 Peter, the first chapter, and verse 19. Verse 19. Go ahead and read it.
2 Peter, the second chapter, verse 19. We have also a more sure word of prophecy.
We have also a more sure word of prophecy. Where does the prophecy come from? It comes from the prophets. We have also a more sure word of prophecy. Now look at what Peter is saying right here. We have a more sure. So what should we be going back to? Should we just be New Testament Christians?
No, sir. No, sir.
Peter said, Peter telling you that we have a more sure word. The prophecy, this is the foundation. So if you really want to know something, you need to go back to the prophets.
That's right.
Even when Jesus told those men who was walking with him at his resurrection, "O fools and slow at heart to believe all that the prophets had spoken." Then he started at Moses and went through all the prophets, speaking of things concerning himself. So now he said, we have a more sure word of prophecy. Go ahead and read.
Whereunto ye do well that ye take heed.
He said you do well if you take heed to the prophets. Go ahead.
As unto a light that shineth in a dark place, till the day dawn, and the day star arise in your hearts. Knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scripture is of any private interpretation.
Stop right there. It said no prophecy of the scripture is of any private interpretation. If a man start prophesying something which was wrong, that God didn't say, the Lord smack him down.
That it is. Yes, sir.
He makes sure he hurry up and bring that false prophet down. So no prophecy of the scripture is of any private interpretation. You're going to speak what I tell you to speak. You're going to write what I tell you to write. Because if you don't, I'm going to destroy you. And they got it from God, either in a vision or an angel came to him, or if he was blessed like Moses was, and he was the only one that was blessed, he met with God face to face. And he was the only one that met with God face to face. Go ahead and read.
21. For the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but holy men of God spake as they were moved by the Holy Ghost.
See, they were moved by the word of God. This is what moved them. Let's go now. Let's go to Psalms 147. Psalm 147. Because, you know, some people think that God has given his word to everybody. You know, like in Acts the 2nd chapter. See, this is the church. They think that the Acts the 2nd chapter means that these men who Peter and the apostles were speaking in tongues to, this were men of other nations. And so now these men of other nations consist of the church. Now, but look at what we read right here in Psalm 147 and verse 19. Psalm 147 and 19. Go ahead and read it.
Psalms chapter 147, verse 19. He showed his word unto Jacob. His statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
He showed his word to who?
Jacob.
Who is Jacob? Jacob was a Hebrew. He was an Israelite. He was a Hebrew. He was a Shemite. That Jacob. He showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgment unto Israel.
He have not dealt so with any nation.
He have not dealt so with any nation. At no time do you see the Lord bringing his word to other nations, except you got an Israelite there teaching them. That's the only time you see that. That's the only time you see another nation getting the word of God is when it came from an Israelite. God gave it to the angel gave it to who? The Israelite. And then the Israelite was supposed to give it to all the other nations. And that's what Paul and Peter and them had started doing. They had started speaking to people of other nations. And in particular, Paul was speaking to Gentiles, which were Caucasian people. Now, so he said, he have not dealt so with any nation.
And as for his judgment, they have not known them.
Go ahead.
Praise ye the Lord.
Now, let's go to Acts the 13th chapter, Acts 13, and we're going to pick it up at verse 16. Acts 13 and 16. Acts 13 and 16. Now we're going to get down to the ruler tribe, the king tribe. We're at Acts 13, and we're going to pick it up at verse 16. Everybody got it? Go ahead and read it.
Acts chapter 13, verse 16. Then Paul stood up and beckoned with his hand, said, Men of Israel, and ye that fear God, give audience. The God of this people of Israel chose our fathers and exalted the people when they dwelt as strangers in the land of Egypt. And with a high arm brought he them out of it.
And he brought them out with a high arm. I mean, he beat Egypt down. Go ahead and read.
And about the time of 40 years suffered he their manners in the wilderness. And when he had destroyed 7 nations in the land of Canaan, he divided their land to them by lot. So now each tribe got their own lot, land, and their own nation, rather. So Levi was the only one that didn't have his own country, I should say. He was the only one because God was his inheritance. So Naphtali had his own country. Zebulun, I think that was Zebulun and Manasseh, they had their own country together. Half of the tribe of Manasseh, half of the tribe of Zebulun had their own country, and so on and so forth with the rest of the 12 tribes. So Joshua had divvied up the land, and the only one that didn't get their own country was Levi, because the Lord was his inheritance. Go ahead and read. What verse you at? 20. And after that he gave unto them judges about the space of 450 years until Samuel the prophet.
So now he gave them judges for 450 years. Go ahead and read.
And afterward they desired a king.
Uh-huh.
And God gave to them Saul.
Now,
the
wait a
son-
minute now. So now, before they had a king, which God was their king, but before they had a man king, they had judges for 400. And Deborah was a judge. You had several judges. What's the name? Man, I can't think of his name right now. But you had several judges that were judging the people. And then after that judge died, then the children of Israel went back to sin. Then the Lord will raise up another judge, not a king, but a judge. Then they come, and then that judge would die out. Then Israel would start sinning again. He raised up another judge. And so he did this for like 400 years. Does everybody understand? Amen. Go ahead and read.
Verse 21.
Uh-huh.
And after they desired a king, and God gave unto them Saul, the son of Cis, a man of the tribe of Benjamin,
Go ahead.
by the space of 40 years.
Now look, he set up Saul first. Saul was the first man king in Israel. Go ahead and read. And so he ruled over all the tribes. Saul did. Go ahead.
22.
Uh-huh.
And when he had removed him, he raised up unto them David to be their king.
Uh-huh. Now David was the second king in Israel. And then he ruled all of Israel. All the tribes. Go ahead and read.
To whom also he gave testimony and said, I have found David, the son of Jesse, a man after mine own heart.
A man, look at that. A man after my own heart. Can you imagine God saying that? I wish he said that about me, boy. A man after my own heart. Go ahead and read.
Which shall fulfill all my will.
Uh-huh.
Of this man's seed hath God, according to his promise, raised into Israel a Savior, Jesus.
Now, wait a minute. So now, David came through what tribe? What tribe did David come through? We're going to read that in 1 minute. But let me show you something about Judah real quick. Let's go in David. Let's go to 1 Chronicles, the 28th chapter. Remember, we read about Leah. She had Levi, and then she had Judah. Right? So let me show you something about Judah. The Levi were the priests. We're going to 1 Chronicles, the 28th chapter. 1 Chronicles 28, and we're going to pick it up at verse 2. 1 Chronicles 28 and 2. When you get it, brother, start reading.
1 Chronicles chapter 28, verse 2. Then David the king stood up upon his feet and said, Hear me, my brethren, and my people. As for me, I had in mine heart to build a house of rest for the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and for the footstool of our God, and had made ready for the building.
Go ahead.
But God
skip to verse 4. We ain't going to read all this. Skip to verse 4. Go ahead.
Howbeit, the Lord God of Israel chose me before all the house of my father to be king over Israel forever.
For how long?
Forever.
And he means that too. Because when David returned, he's going to be king over all Israel. He has set up the apostles to be rulers over each one of the tribes, right? But David is going to be over all the 12 tribes. The Lord is going to be over everybody on earth. And then he come the Father. Ain't going to be no more flesh then. But go ahead. Read.
For he have chosen Judah to be the ruler.
He have chosen Judah to be what?
The ruler.
So he has set up Levi as a priest. Now he has set up Judah to be the ruler. And Saul was the first king in Israel. But then here comes David, which is from the tribe of Judah. And so now Judah, he has set up to be ruler in Israel. Go ahead and read.
Judah to be the ruler, and of the house of Judah,
go ahead,
the house of my father, and among the sons of my father, he liked me to make me king over all.
He
Israel.
liked me to make me king over all Israel. And you see what he said his father's house was? Judah, right?
Yes, sir.
And Judah is the ruler. He is the ruler. Now, let's look at David again. Then we're going to bring it to the Lord. Let's go to Matthew 1. Matthew 1. Matthew 1, and we're going to pick it up at verse 2. Matthew 1 and 2. Matthew 1 and 2. Everybody got it?
Amen.
Go ahead and read it.
Matthew chapter 1, verse 2.
Uh-huh.
Abraham begot Isaac,
Uh-huh.
and Isaac begot Jacob.
Go ahead.
And Jacob begot Judas.
And Jacob begot who?
Judas.
That's Judah. And Jacob begot Judas,
And his brethren.
and his brethren. Skip to verse 17. Skip to verse 17. Go ahead and read.
So all the generations from Abraham to David are 40 generations.
Our 14 generations.
Excuse me, yeah, 14 generations.
Uh-huh.
And from David until the carrying away into Babylon are 14 generations.
Uh-huh. So when the children of Israel, when the Lord punished them, he took them down into Babylon. Then after Babylon, the Medes and the Persians. Then the Greeks, then the Romans. And so now the Romans were ruling during the time of Jesus. Read that verse again.
So all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations.
Uh-huh.
And from David until the carrying away into Babylon are 14 generations.
Uh-huh.
And from the carrying away into Babylon unto Christ are 14 generations.
Now, so now we are during the times of Christ now. And the Romans are ruling at this time. They're ruling over the children of Israel. But let's see what tribe Judah came out, Jesus came out of. Hebrews 7 and 14. Hebrews 7 and 14. Let's see what tribe Judah, I keep saying Judah, Jesus came out of. Hebrews 7 and 14. Go ahead and read, because Judah is the ruler. He is the ruler. And that's who Leah, those are sons of Leah that Jacob had. Jacob had from Leah, Levi, and Judah, right? And he is the ruler. Let's see who Jesus came out of. Hebrews 7 and 14. Go ahead and read it.
Hebrews chapter 7, verse 14.
Uh-huh.
For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah.
So if the Lord sprang out of Judah, then what was he? A Jew. He was a Jew. Go ahead and read.
Of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood.
Now, so that means then if he was a Jew, and we're the Jews, then who did he look like? I ain't gonna start. Let's go now. Let's go to Genesis 49. We got two more. A brief history of the Israelites. Let's go to Genesis 49. Genesis 49. Let's see what Moses wrote about this one Jesus that came out of Judah. We're going all the way back to Genesis 49. Genesis 49. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Genesis 49 and 1. You know, a lot of people get upset because of that. Because we say that Jesus looked like us. Well, it's written right here in the book. So your anger should be pointed towards me, should be pointed towards God. Because he's the one who brought him here. That's who your anger should be brought towards. It is towards God. It had nothing to do with no man. God done that, right? He was born of a woman. Joseph didn't even have nothing to do with it. Genesis 49 and 1. Genesis 49 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
Genesis chapter 49, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father.
Now we're going to get down to Judah. We're going to get down to Judah, because he said, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen in the last days. Skip to verse 8. Skip to verse 8. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise.
Because Judah is the ruler, right? And so the people, even when you during the times of David, they were praising Judah. Because before David became king, Saul was king, right? And so Saul would go out to war, right? And then David go out to war. And then the women start singing. Saul had killed his 1,000, but David had killed his 10,000. And so that's what Saul got mad. But they were praising Judah at that time. He said, thy brother, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Go ahead and read.
Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee.
Now he said, thy hand shall be in the neck of thy enemy. Now look, we're going to show you, his enemy's going to be beat down. His enemy's going to get beat down. Now that is really another lesson, but I'm just going to touch on a little bit. Go ahead and read.
Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion. And as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come.
Who is Shiloh? That's Jesus, right? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come. And what's going to happen?
And unto him shall the gathering of the people be.
And unto him shall the gathering of the people be. So did Shiloh come in 1948?
No.
I ain't saying that.
Because that's when they said the Jews was gathered back into Israel in 1948. Well, I'm looking for Shiloh. Where's he at? So if Shiloh didn't gather, then the Jews didn't gather back in 1948. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him. See, that lets you know right there, Shiloh is a him.
Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm saying? Unto him shall the gathering of the people be. And that's who the people are going to gather to. It is to the Lord. Jesus.
Hallelujah.
Go ahead and read. Now, he done went beyond us. Now he getting ready to go back now to Jesus during the time of the first century. What does that verse 11 say? Go ahead.
Binding his foal unto the vine. And his ass's coat into the choice vine.
Go ahead.
He washed his garments in wine and his clothes in the blood of grapes.
Stop right there. Stop right there. He done went from the future, right, to the past, to the first century, back to the future.
Make it plain.
Does everybody see this?
Amen.
Binding his foal unto the vine and his ass coat unto the choice vine. This is what he did when he was a man, the man Jesus walking around in the first century. He washed his garments in wine and his clothes in the blood of grapes. Jesus didn't kill nobody when he came during the first century. So this got to be talking about future. Isn't that what Jacob said? He's going to tell his son, I'm going to tell you what's going to befall you in the last days.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And now we dealing with Jesus right here. Binding his foal into the vine and his ass coat into the choice vine. He washed his garments in wine and his clothes in the blood of grapes. This talking future right here when he come to beat this man down into submission. Because that's what he got to do to this man.
Come on.
He got to beat him down. And Israel going to be running around. I ain't no Israelite. I ain't no. And the people going to be like, look, you coming with us. 10 men from every nation going to grab a hold of him. which is a Jew, and say, take me with you, for the Lord is with you. They're looking for a reward.
Come on, brother.
You better learn about these Israelites, and more particularly, you better learn about Jesus.
Amen.
What verse we at, brother?
12.
Go ahead.
His eyes shall be red with wine,
Uh-huh.
and his teeth white with milk.
Now, we're going to stop right there. Let's go now. Let's go to Luke 1. Luke 1, we got one more after this. Luke 1 and 30. Luke 1 and 30. I just want to give you guys a brief history of the Israelites. Luke 1 and 30. Luke 1 and 30. Now look at this one that's coming right here. Come out of Israel. Came out of Judah, the ruler tribe. He was a Hebrew. He was Semitic or Shemite. This one that we are dealing with right now. Luke 1 and 30. Luke 1 and 30. Go ahead and read.
Luke chapter 1, verse 30.
Uh-huh.
And the angel said unto her, Fear not, Mary, for thou hast found favor with God.
Uh-huh.
And behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb, and bring forth a son,
Uh-huh.
and shall call his name Jesus.
Now where did that name come from? That name came from heaven. Now you're going to kick against this name right here. And this name came from heaven. Don't you know God know who he named? He know the nations that he named. He know the people that he named. And so if he wanted to put Jesus' original name right, he would have put it right here. We speak English, so we say Jesus. Go ahead and read.
He shall be great,
Uh-huh.
and shall be called the Son of the Highest.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord God shall give unto him the throne of his father David.
And the Lord God shall give unto him the throne of his father David. Did Jesus take over the throne of David when he lived? Mm-mm. At his end, he was called the King of the Jews, but he wasn't really ruling like no king. But when he come back, he's going to be the Lion of the tribe of Judah, and he's going to be King of kings and Lord of lords.
It's written.
Amen.
He's going to rule like a king. He's going to rule his whole world.
Amen.
So you better get yourself in order. He shall be great. He called the Son of the Highest. The Lord God shall give him to the throne of his father David. Verse 33. Go ahead.
He shall reign over the house of Jacob forever.
He's going to reign over who?
The house of Jacob forever.
He's going to reign over the house of... Who is the house of Jacob? Isn't that Israel?
Sure enough.
That's the 12 tribes right there, right? Didn't say he's going to reign over the Jews forever. Say he's going to reign over the house of Jacob forever. The house of Jacob don't consist of just the Jews. It consists of what? 12 tribes.
There it is.
He's going to reign over the house of Jacob forever.
And of his kingdom there shall be no end.
And of his kingdom, that this one right here came out of Judah, which was an Israelite. He's coming to rule the world. And I got news for you. He is the one that is the God of the Old Testament. That God came down to look like one of us. Let me stop. Ezekiel 43. Ezekiel 43. Ezekiel 43. I don't want to start nothing. They might shut us down. Ezekiel 43. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. We might go in the jail or something. We call it Facebook jail or something like that. We ain't trying to go to no Facebook jail. Ezekiel 43 and 1. Ezekiel 43 and 1. This will be last. Go ahead and read.
Ezekiel chapter 43, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Afterward he brought me to the gate, even the gate that looketh toward the east.
Uh-huh.
And behold, the glory of the God of Israel came from the way of the east.
Uh-huh.
And his voice was like a noise of many waters, and the earth shined with his glory.
Now you know This is talking future right here. Because he said the earth shine with his glory. So this is talking future. Go ahead and read.
And it was according to the appearance of the vision which I saw, even according to the vision that I saw when I came to destroy the city. And the visions were like the vision that I saw by the river Chabar. And I fell upon my face. And the glory of the Lord came into the house by the way of the gate, whose prospect is toward the east.
Now, what gate is he talking about? And what house? This, if it's got a gate, it's got a house, right? This is talking about the temple of the Lord when he returns. Go ahead and read.
Verse 5.
Now he's showing Ezekiel a vision of this. I know Ezekiel had almost passed out seeing something like this. Go ahead and read.
So the Spirit took me up and brought me into the inner court. And behold, the glory of the Lord filled the house.
And the glory of the Lord filled the house. Now you think that, because you know, brother, well, it ain't going to be no third temple. It ain't going to be. I said, well, what is this right here? This is future, and he in a house. He in a temple right here.
That's right, brother. That's it.
This ain't no man's temple that a man done built. You think he gonna have a filthy man to build him a temple which he done defiled? No, he's gonna have spirits to build this temple right here. And then he's gonna come and dwell in this temple. So the Spirit took me up and brought me into the inner court. And behold, the glory of the Lord filled the house. Go ahead and read.
And I heard him speaking unto me out of the house, and the man stood by me.
Got people thinking, Esau got people thinking that the Lord is going to come dwell in that temple. The Lord ain't coming to dwell in that temple that some man done built. Especially not, well, anyway. Verse 7.
And he said unto me.
Now listen what he said. Now he said unto me, go ahead.
Son of man. The place of my throne. And the place of the soles of my feet.
The place of my throne. Didn't the angel tell Mary, you're going to have a son, and he's going to sit on the throne of his father David, and he's going to reign over the house of Jacob forever? And he said unto me, Son of man, the place of my throne, and the place of the soles of my feet,
where I will dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever.
Stop right there. We just read this over in Luke, the 1st chapter. He said, and he said unto him, Son of man, the place of my throne, the place of the soles of my feet, where I will dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever.
And my holy name shall the house of Israel no more defile.
Wait a minute. Now, who is this talking about? He said, the Son of man, place of my throne, place of the soles of my feet, where I dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever. This is the Lord right here. He said, in my holy name, they're not going to defile anymore. What is that holy name? Y'all ain't got to be scared to say it.
Jesus.
It is Jesus. That's what, say that name, all the heathen are going to be calling on that name. Everybody's going to be calling on that name. Go ahead and finish that.
My holy name shall the house of Israel no more defile, neither they nor their kings by their whoredom, nor by the carcasses of their kings in their high places.
And there you have it. We're going to stop it right there. A brief history of the Israelites. Thank you. Now we're going to have the reading of the announcements.
Grace and peace to our brothers and sisters here at the Israel's Church of the Living God. If this is your first visit, we hope you come back and worship with us again next Sabbath. There's no eating or drinking in the sanctuary with the exception for water. Brothers and sisters, please adhere to the dress code of Israel's Church of the Living God. Brothers, please remove any head covering upon entering the building. Do not wear sleeveless shirts, fleece jogging pants, shorts, tight-fitting pants, or any other revealing attire. Sisters, you must have a head covering. This is required. Hats, scarf, etc. Do not wear pants, shorts, skirts, mid-dress or see-through blouses, mini dresses, mini skirts, halter tops of any kind, revealing splits, tight-fitting or cleavage-revealing attire, modest apparel only. We have Bibles and scarves that belongs to, we have Bible and scarves available for visitors, excuse me. If you use a Bible scarf that belongs to Israel's Church of the Living God, please return it prior to leaving. If you live in the Lake County, Illinois area, please watch our television program, The Word for Life, every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Comcast Channel 17. You can visit our Facebook page, Israel's Church of the Living God, to watch our live Sabbath lessons and view another page from my notebook by Brother Russ, Brother Rodney, live every Wednesday, and you can also post questions or comments. All questions will be answered according to the Bible. Click the Facebook like button to see our daily posts in the news feed, in your news feed. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at ICOTLG567 to view our recorded Sabbath lessons and the heads of armor with myself, Brother Caleb, and Brother Rob. In an effort to expand the church ministry, we have established a building fund. You can make secure donations or payments online using our PayPal account at israelschurch.org. That's Israel's with S, church.org. Or you can send your donation to the attention of ICOTLG at P.O. Box 8933, Waukegan, Illinois, 60079. We thank you for your past contributions and hope for your continued support. Free will donations are welcome and appreciated. Finally, brothers and sisters, please continue to pray for one another. This is this weekly Saturday announcement.
If you'd like to contact us here at Israel's Church of the Living God, you can give us a call at 847-636-4792. That's 847-636-4792 or 847-246-4421. We also would like you to join us on our website. That's israelschurch.org. israelschurch.org, where you can follow us on Facebook, and you can also look at us live on Facebook as well as YouTube now. And for those that are viewing our YouTube channel, we'd like for you to like and subscribe to our channel. And ring that bell to be notified when we are on YouTube. Okay? If you would like prayer or spiritual counseling, you can see myself or Brother Caleb, or give us a call at one of those numbers, 847-636-4792 or 847-246-4421. If you would like to be baptized, give us a call at those same numbers, or you can see myself or Brother Caleb. Okay? Parents, please escort the holy days. For a list of the holy days, you can go to our website at israelschurch.org. Parents, please escort your children to the restroom and do not allow your children to run in the hallways. Okay? If your children are disruptive, quietly take them to the children's class. If your children are being disruptive. Okay? We are having Sabbath lunch, and it is being provided by our members. Please contribute a dish if you are able. Okay? And just so I can keep reminding us and everybody that we are streaming live on YouTube now. So let all your friends and family know, We prefer them to come here, but if they want to check us out first, then go watch us on YouTube Live or Facebook Live. Okay? All right. Okay. If that's it, we're going to stand and face the room and close out.
Turn around here, man. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. For thy kingdom come, and thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day, our daily bread. Forgive us of our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but
deliver us
from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. In Jesus' holy name we pray. Amen.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen.